Alright, how George Pickens crashing out could ruin his NFL career.
He is undeniably one of the most talented young receivers in the league. His skills on the field, including contested catches, athleticism, and big playability, have made him a standout player in the black and yellow. However, that talent is often overshadowed by his crash-out controversial behavior, and Shannon Sharpe is one who's not scared to voice his opinion about him.
That he's gonna ever be anything but a pouting diva that doesn't give effort on every play. George Pickens basically lost him the game tonight because George Pickens is lazy. He lollygags in his route, especially if he's not getting the ball. Yeah. George is a young player, but at some point in time, we got to stop using age as an excuse.
The way Shay talks about George, you would think he had a personal problem with him. But from his immature college incidents to his draft reactions and now his NFL controversies, George is constantly making headlines for reasons beyond his on-field performance. Sideline outbursts, social media drama, and tension with other players have become a recurring theme in his young career. But despite his talent, is George his own worst enemy? Let's go back and figure out how we got to this point. Starting off with a brief recap of his high school career, George's journey to the NFL began in Birmingham, Alabama. As a student at Hoover High School, he quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with on the football field. As a senior, he balled, hauling 69 receptions for 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. In one particular game that season, on November 16, 2018, he racked up 202 yards on just 5 receptions. But don't get it twisted, his high school career wasn't just about his stats. His physicality and competitive edge set him apart from his peers. On the field, he displayed a rare combination of size, speed, and ability to make difficult catches look effortless. This unique skill set didn't go unnoticed, earning him first-team All-USA and All-Alabama honors. He finished his high school career as the MVP of the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game, and his performance in this game, along with his consistent dominance throughout his high school years, cemented his status as a 5-star recruit and the #1 ranked prospect in the state of Alabama. As his reputation grew, so did the interest from the top college football programs across the nation. The recruiting process was intense. At first, he committed to Auburn, a decision that seemed aligned with his in-state roots. However, in a twist that would set the stage for his college career, George had a change of heart. In a move that surprised many, he flipped his commitment.
The recruiting process was very fun. Thanks for all the schools that recruited me, and I'll be attending the University of Georgia.
Why Georgia?
I just felt like it was the right place for me, knowing that Kirby Smart, he's always going to be up for like a national championship. I had a good communication with them all through the recruiting process.
This decision wasn't just about choosing a school. It was about George betting on himself and his ability to shine on one of the college football's biggest stages. And here is where the college football world was introduced to George. And let's just say not just for his football highlights, but for his temper as well. He wasted no time making his mark at Georgia. As a true freshman in 2019, he led the team with 49 receptions for 727 yards and 8 touchdowns. His immediate impact was a statement to his talent and readiness for the college game. However, his college career wasn't without its challenges. On November 30th, 2019, during a game against Georgia Tech, George was involved in a now infamous incident. In the third quarter, after a Georgia touchdown, Pickens traded punches with Georgia Tech's cornerback Trey Swilling.
And for Pickens come in. Okay, that's not good.
He's going jab for jab.
Boom! Right then and there, you knew this man was a menace. The way he threw that man into the wall on some WWE shit. The fight resulted in George ejected from the game and suspended from the first half of the SEC championship the following week against LSU. Kirby Smart and some of his teammates were not happy with their young receiver's actions.
You know, I'll address the George Pickens situation. He was suspended for the first half for violation of team rules, and that's all I want to say about that.
And when you make undisciplined decisions, regardless of what's done first, you pay a penalty for that. So,
you know, he just got to be smarter. You know, you can't, you know, there ain't no way around it.
He apologized formally to the team yesterday, so you know, he knows he's in the wrong. He knows he can't let that happen again.
But despite the setbacks, Pickens continued to be a major contributor to Georgia's success. In the COVID-shortened 2020 season, he caught 36 passes for 513 yards and a team-leading 6 receiving touchdowns in just 8 games. But this season, he had another immature moment. In a Week 3 matchup against Tennessee, I guess George thought that the Tennessee quarterback was hot, so he decided to take matters into his own hands and cool him off by squirting him with a water bottle, which resulted in an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Like, bro, how do you get an unsportsmanlike on the sideline?
That's just disappointing. It's silly behavior. When somebody comes out of bounds and you squirt water at them, I mean, what are we? Are we 7, 8 years old? I mean, come on. Let's don't be silly.
But unfortunately, his college career took an unexpected turn in the spring of 2021 when he suffered a torn ACL. This injury sidelined him for most of his junior season, limiting him to just 4 games. However, even in a limited action, he managed to make his presence felt. In the 2022 Natty game against Alabama, he made a crucial 52-yard reception in the first quarter, setting up Georgia's first score and helping to propel the Bulldogs to their first national championship in 41 years, which was one of his main reasons why he decided to go to Georgia to begin with.
Knowing that Kirby Smart, he's always going to be up for like a national championship.
Despite only playing 24 games over his 3 seasons at Georgia, Pickens finished his college career with 90 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 14 touchdowns. His potential was clear, but questions about his maturity and durability lingered as he declared for the 2022 NFL Draft.
George, do you think that you've grown up over the last 4 months and even...
He still got growing to do.
Yeah, I still got growing to do. I can kind of tell myself that I'm improving.
And the draft was a pivotal moment in his career where he went viral for when he heard his name being called. But there's a little backstory to it. As the second day of the draft unfolded, after going undrafted in the first round, he was a little butthurt and decided to take the second day with a more relaxed approach.
I was a little salty after I didn't go in the first round. I had a clean suit, man. When that first day went by, I went in my bed and I slept, and I was just telling myself, like, I'm not gonna put nothing on the second day. I'm just gonna, the team who get me gonna get the best version of me.
And that team ended up being the Steelers. Coach Mike Tomlin called George to inform him the Steelers' decision to select them.
George, what's going on, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers? We're about to make you a Pittsburgh Steeler, brother.
And with the 52nd overall pick, which was called by his future teammate, Chase Claypool,
The Pittsburgh Steelers select George Pickens, Georgia.
And in the moment that caught Pickens waiting for his name to be called, cameras captured a moment that would become instantly iconic.
And that's when you guys see the ski mask.
Yeah, the white t-shirt.
The white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Now the pose, that's just some, that's just me trolling, being funny.
However, the selection of him by the Steelers sparked some mixed reactions from NFL analysts and media personalities. Many praised his undeniable talent, with some even suggesting he had first-round potential. However, concerns about his maturity and off-field temper were equally recognized. One NFL scout in an anonymous survey labeled Pickens as the most boom or bust receiver in the draft class, and the scout didn't hold back, stating he can't get out of his own way. He's been enabled his whole life. And this opinion was echoed by an NFL wide receiver coach who said he's a top 6 talent-wise, but I wouldn't touch him.
And there were also some teams that thought he had a little bit of an attitude issue that needs to get remedied a little bit. But
these concerns stemming from his history of on-field incidents at Georgia. But despite these red flags, many analysts saw Steelers' selection of Pickens as a potential steal. The team's track record of developing wide receiver talent, combined with head coach Mike Tomlin's reputation of managing strong personalities, led some to believe that Pittsburgh might be the perfect landing spot for Pickens.
I sometimes get resistant when I get asked about his maturity and character-related things, because oftentimes I believe he got mischaracterized pre-draft. That's why I'm combative at times and defensive when it comes to him.
For the Steelers, though, drafting Pickens was a calculated risk. General Manager Kevin Colbert addressed the concerns head-on, stating Georgia's a young, competitive guy that lets his emotions sometimes get carried away, but that's not a bad thing as long as you can control it. The team's confidence in their ability to harness Pickens' talent while managing his temper was evident. As a rookie, he wasted no time making his mark in the NFL. He finished his first season with 52 catches for 801 yards and 4 touchdowns. Impressive numbers for a first-year player, but it wasn't just his stats that caught everyone's attention. His ability to make jaw-dropping catches became his trademark, earning him a devoted fan following and gaining attention across the league. But despite his talent, there were games where he felt underutilized. In a game against Atlanta his rookie season, he had 1 reception on 2 targets for 2 yards, and he was hot about it. At the top of the 4th quarter, cameras caught him yelling at either one of his coaches or Pickett, "Throw me the ball." This behavior drew mixed reactions from media analysts, with some questioning his maturity while others praised his competitive fire.
I get his level of frustration, but I think what George needs to understand, he's not playing with a top-level quarterback right now.
Tomlin let Antonio Brown get away with this nonsense in Pittsburgh for a long time, and eventually he was like, I'm sick of it.
Mike Tomlin even defended his young receiver, emphasizing Pickens' passion for the game and his desire to contribute is exactly what he wants out of his players.
I want a guy that wants to be a significant part of what it is that we do. That competitive spirit, the guy that wants the ball, I want that guy. Yeah. I'm not going to make that a negative. No matter how silly I think the commentary is or people talking about
him expressing frustrations and stuff and trying to make it a negative storyline.
Despite these outbursts, his talent was undeniable, and fans quickly embraced the young receiver, seeing him as the potential to be a true #1 option that the team had been searching for since the departure of AB. As he continued to develop, so did the excitement around his potential. His rookie season was just the beginning. The Steelers and their fans knew they had a special player on their hands, one who could change the course of a game with a single spectacular catch. But they also knew that managing Pickens' fiery personality would be crucial to unlocking his full potential and helping him become not just a great receiver, but a true leader on the field. And over the last 2 years, he has had 122 receptions, just over 2,000 yards, and 8 touchdowns, with the bulk of that coming in 2023, where he took a significant leap forward, finishing the season with 63 receptions, 1,100 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. This breakout performance placed him among the league's top receivers in terms of yardage, showcasing his potential to be a true receiver 1. But let's stop it there. That's enough of George Pickens. Let's now get into NFL Youngboy, which was a nickname given to him by his Pittsburgh fans.
NFL Youngboy. You like that? Youngboy, one of my favorites. So yeah, for real, that's dope.
NFL Youngboy. I got that all in the captions, bio, all that stuff.
Where does NFL Youngboy come from? How would you explain that to a 31-year-old father of 2?
I wouldn't know what to tell that 31-year-old father. I would just probably say, the fans kind of gave me that name. I really never, said anything to it.
Do you feel like it kind of embraces your personality kind of thing? You feel like it fits you?
I feel like that's where they kind of got the name from, just based off of my personality to it. But I don't really have no problem with it. It's not like, oh, no, don't call me that.
But why would they give him such a nickname? For some of y'all, if you know, you know. But if I happen to have any 31-year-old fathers of 2 watching this, basically, it stems from this guy here, NBA Youngboy, a 25-year-old rapper known to crash out at any moment. Now, you're probably like, what's a crash out? Well, look it up in the Urban Dictionary. Perfectly describes Pickens, right? His temper has occasionally got the best of him, leading to costly penalties and ejections. Since coming into the league in 22, he has had 2 unsportsmanlike conducts, 2 tauntings, 2 offensive pass interference, 1 disqualification, and 1 unnecessary roughness.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 14 to the kicking team. Number 14 is disqualified.
Social media has been another battleground for Pickens. His habit of posting cryptic messages then deleting them has fueled endless speculation about his happiness in Pittsburgh and his relationship with the team. These online antics have often overshadowed his on-field performance, creating distractions for the team and frustration for fans. In his second season, in November of 23, after a game against the Titans where he recorded negative yardage, he had 2 catches for -1 yards. He made an Instagram story saying, "Free me," then removed all references to the Steelers from his page and appeared to unfollow some teammates and coaches, including quarterback Kenny Pickett and even the official Steelers account, which immediately sparked speculation about his dissatisfaction with the team. The cherry on top though was changing his profile picture from one in a Steelers uniform to a high school photo, a move interpreted by many as a desire to distance himself from the team. And when he was confronted by the media, of course he tried to downplay it by saying he was just clearing out his page.
You did kind of hide all the Steelers stuff from your profile. Just what was behind doing that and then restoring it?
Just clearing out my page. See what I mean? Not really too crazy. It got nothing to do with the Steelers at all. I don't really mix social media and football together, so.
The social media drama created headlines and sparked intense speculation about his future with the Steelers. Fans and analysts dissected every post and deletion, trying to decipher his true feelings.
What I would say is just this is the way these kids these days throw their tantrums. They delete the team off the social media, and then as soon as they get re-signed or get signed for the money they want, then all the team stuff comes back up.
But as the seasons progressed, his sideline antics also became a recurring theme, with cameras
frequently. Damn, bro, this is a long ass video, bro. This dude's a fucking crash out. It's a good ass video though. I can't lie.
In heated exchanges with coaches and teammates. These moments of frustrations have raised questions about his ability to handle adversity and work within the team structure. This season is probably the worst of all 3 in terms of his behavior, leaving many to believe it's time for him to exit stage left out of Pittsburgh. His 2024 season was a roller coaster of electrifying plays and controversial moments that kept the Pittsburgh Steelers in the spotlight for reasons both on and off the field. The drama began late in the season, in Week 12 against the Browns, as the final seconds ticked away in a 24-19 loss where he had 4 receptions for 48 yards. Pickens got into a heated altercation with Browns cornerback Greg Newsome. The 2 players tussled in the end zone after a failed Hail Mary attempt.
Now a late rush thrown up for grabs in the end zone. None of the receivers really in position to have any chance at all.
No.
Put the heat on. Now you got Pickens upset about something. To pull him away.
But wait, doesn't this kind of look familiar? Bro loves to throw people into the stands. In the locker room after the game, Pickens didn't hold back, trashing the Browns and claiming the snow saved him and that the Browns were trash.
What happened in the end zone with this man in the last play?
Nothing. Like I said, conditions played a huge part in today's game. I don't really think the Cleveland Browns are a good team at all.
Greg also was asked about what happened, and he fired back calling Pickens a fake tough guy.
Yeah, fake tough guy. He does a lot of that, the antics and stuff. Yeah, he didn't even go up for the ball. He was just trying to do WrestleMania with me the whole time. So he's a guy that cares more so about himself, and you can see that in the penalties that he causes.
Coach Tomlin's response raised the eyebrows though. Instead of addressing Pickens' role in the scuffle, Tomlin deflected blame onto the Browns, a move that many viewed as enabling Pickens' behavior rather than holding him accountable. Tomlin saying of Pickens, certainly he was involved in the Hail Mary as the point man, but the Browns' actions also took him out of the play. The season's most explosive moments came during 2 games against the Cincinnati Bengals. In their first matchup, George was actually himself, showcasing his on-field skills with 3 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. However, it was his behavior that stole the headlines. He had 2 personal penalties that significantly impacted the game. The first came in the first quarter when he dropped the ball on a group of Bengals defenders after a catch.
Makes the play on a penalty marker at the end. Pickens may have had something to say to the Cincinnati bench. Now, this is an ongoing issue. It's Pickens against the world.
He was flagged for taunting, and it was a 15-yarder. The second, which was more controversial, occurred when he celebrated a first down with the finger gun, which refs deemed it as violent. The funniest part about this was after the game. When he was asked about his 2 penalties, he acted like he didn't know why he got them.
Yeah, they said they got the gesture wrong. You know what I mean? Thought it was something else. You know, you can't hurt the team. I never intend to hurt the team, but...
What was the gesture?
Oh, I'm not sure. I was doing the first down. He said he thought something else.
Like, bro, you know damn well what that gesture was. I guess you gotta play crazy in the media, though. And Mike Tomlin, who earlier in Georgia's career seemed to take his side, now kind of seems a little fed up.
He got a target on his back because he's George. He understands that. But he's got to grow up. He's got to grow up in a hurry.
The season's drama peaked on Christmas Day against the Chiefs. First, reports emerged as Pickens arrived at the stadium just an hour and 25 minutes before kickoff, despite Tomlin's instructions for players to be there at least 2 hours early. This tardiness raised questions about Pickens' commitment and professionalism, adding another layer to the ongoing controversy surrounding him. And to make matters worse, his actions during the game wasn't the best, causing the media to bash him. In his return after a 3-game absence due to a hamstring injury, Pickens finished with a modest stat line of 3 catches for 50 yards in the Steelers' 29-10 loss. But the most scrutinized play of the game involved Pickens appearing to give up on a route, which led to a costly red zone interception thrown by Russ. And the media didn't hold back on their criticism, calling out Pickens for not running the go route as expected and appearing to just give up on the play.
That George Pickens is also supposed to run and go in order to hold that safety.
Issue number 1. And they showed the replay, is George Pickens didn't run his route. That's issue number 1, because if he doesn't run his route, which he didn't, he just kind of, I don't even know what you call it. The safety has no threat now. If George runs his route down the sideline, I have to honor that.
This proved to be the turning point in the game where the Steelers needed every opportunity to keep pace with the high-powered Chiefs offense. The media's reaction to his performance and behavior was mainly negative. His visible on-field frustrations and apparent lack of effort on certain plays drew significant attention.
But out of all the snaps that I had in my career, you ain't gonna never see no like that on film.
And what McDuffie did is that he got a jam so good on Pickens, Pickens stopped.
He let him jam it,
Does he not know this because he's a young player?
No, he knows this. He knows it.
Adding to the controversy, Pickens was seen approaching Patrick and Travis after the game, calling Mahomes the best in the world during the live Netflix interview.
Nice right here. This is my
While showing love to an opponent isn't that
problematic, Glazing, he tried to get on the cheese.
Raised some eyebrows though, especially given the Steelers' lopsided loss and Pickens' underwhelming performance.
Right. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Oh, you're on national TV now. Now I want to come say hi. Yeah. Everybody else is off the field. The antics are getting old. I am one that I like personality on the field. I don't mind a jerk on the field. He crosses that line for me. The team and Mike Tomlin is like, "Get the hell with it. I've had enough." Bon voyage.
And it didn't even stop there. After the game in the locker room, an intense moment unfolded during the press conference involving George and a reporter. The incident stemmed about the interception thrown by Russ during the game. During the press conference, a reporter asked Pickens about not being on the same page with Russ regarding his interception. But how the reporter asked the question, Pickens knew he was trying to start something.
It seemed like you and Russ weren't on the same page in that interception against the Chiefs. How does that happen? And
he said me and Russ wasn't on the same page?
Yeah, well, that's what he said.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Or is that what you said?
That's what he said. How do you just address that?
But in reality, Russ took responsibility for the error and didn't blame Pickens at all for the miscommunication.
Are you counting on George to go vertical and carry that safety, or can you explain that for us?
Yeah, I think he's going to go vertical, but at the end of the day, it can't happen. On me, I was trying to give Pat a chance. He's done such a good job for us down the red zone, and they made a good play.
This situation highlighted the ongoing scrutiny for Pickens' behaviors and the challenges the Steelers face in managing their talented but sometimes tempered receiver. Tomlin even attempted to defuse the situation a couple days later on December 30th, saying, "Not at all. George route running has zero to do with that interception. George was fine last Wednesday, but deep down we all saw him give up on that route and how much it affected that play." And in the final game of the season, in the second matchup against the Bengals, he had a disastrous performance, marking a low point in his already controversial 2024 season. He finished the game with just 1 catch for 0 yards on 6 targets, dropping 3 crucial passes that could have changed the outcome of the Steelers' 19-17 loss. His poor game drew intense criticism from fans and the media.
What the fuck?
Steelers supporters were particularly furious, with some calling him a bum and a diva, while others suggested trading him for draft picks. This performance was especially frustrating given Pickens' history of demanding more targets and his previous emotional outbursts on the sideline.
And when I'm not open, I'm always open. Where would you?
The game also featured a heated exchange between Pickens and fans in the stands, which he had to be held back, further highlighting the tension surrounding him. This incident, combined with his on-field struggles, has intensified discussion about Pickens' future with the team as he enters his final year of his rookie contract. Mike T, who has reportedly addressed Pickens' behavior throughout the season, took more of a measured approach in his post-game comments. While he didn't directly criticize Pickens, his frustrations was evident with his short responses to media questions.
Not enough routine playmaking, that particularly on the offensive side, we didn't do enough routine things well.
Now, me personally, I feel like that was kind of a shot at George, because that is something he always says to him since he first came into the league.
Can you take me inside your conversations with Mike Tomlin, what he says in your ear, George?
One of the biggest things he tells me personally is just routine plays routinely. Take the mystique out of it, and just, if a ball comes your way, make the routine catch.
He told me you are telling him to do the routine things routinely. Can you confirm that? That's what you're telling him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's making routine plays. We all know that he is capable of the spectacular, and I love that about his game. But I want to see him make the routine plays.
In contrast, Russell Wilson publicly supported Pickens despite the poor performance. He expressed confidence in George, stating,
"If anybody believes in George, I do. I have no hesitation to throw the football to him and what he can do and what he means to us and our football team." And then tonight, obviously didn't go our way. And I think that great players, sometimes, it doesn't go their way that day.
This show of support shows Russ's attempt to maintain team unity despite the ongoing controversy surrounding Pickens. But George's Week 18 performance was particularly disappointing as he was on the verge of reaching a significant milestone. Entering the game, he just needed 100 yards to surpass 1,000 receiving yards for the season, which would have made him the first Steeler since Mike Wallace to achieve this feat in 2 of his first 3 seasons. The fallout from the game, though, reignited debates about Pickens' maturity, work ethic, and long-term fit with the Steelers organization. As the team heads into the offseason, his development both on and off the field will be a crucial storyline to watch for in the coming months. But I got a question for you. Could his behavior derail his career? While he is undeniably one of the most talented young receivers in the league, but as his career progresses, his immaturity both on and off the field has raised red flags that could jeopardize his future in the league. The NFL is a business at the end of the day, where teams value discipline and professionalism as much as raw skill. Coaches and front offices may begin to view Pickens as more trouble than he's worth, regardless of his talent. His situation draws comparisons to other talented receivers whose career were derailed by their behavioral issues. AB is the most infamous example, a player whose Hall of Fame level talent was overshadowed by off-field controversies and locker room disruptions. Dez Bryant also struggled with a reputation of being difficult to manage, which eventually led to teams hesitating to sign him after his time in Dallas, despite his undeniable abilities. The common thread between these players is how quickly they went from being seen as passionate to problematic. In Pickens' case, his his fiery personality has already begun to alienate fans and raise concerns within the Steelers organization. As Mark Madden bluntly put it, Pickens is a ticking time bomb, also stating the Steelers have a history with diva wide receivers. Antonio Brown was the original, Juju Smith-Schuster was a vanilla version, Chase Claypool was a crappy model. Now Pickens, after Brown, is the second most talented in this lineage, being the third AB Jr. If his behavior continues to overshadow his performance, he could find himself out of favor, not just in Pittsburgh, but across the league. As we look ahead into the 2025 season, he stands at a crossroads. His talent gives him the potential to be one of the NFL's elite receivers, but it's his behavior that threatens to derail everything he's worked for. The coming months will be crucial for him to demonstrate growth, both as a player and a professional. The Steelers face a difficult decision: invest in a player with undeniable talent or cut ties before his behavior further impacts the team.
I believe the Steelers will move on from George Pickens this offseason.
I think for Pick, I think a change of scenery would be good. Not only a change of scenery, but being able to sit down and talk to somebody.
The question now is whether he can channel his passion into productive energy or if he'll let it consume him entirely. What you think? Can George overcome his temper and thrive in the NFL? Or is he on the path to become another labeled diva receiver and won't be able to find a real home in the league?
I don't think you're gonna get a world where George Pickens isn't the George Pickens we know. Like, limited, maybe, but all the way out the way, no. This is just who he is. This is who he is now. He's gonna come with the baggage. You just gotta hope his talent is good enough for you to take that hit on the extra shit he does. He's definitely talented. And I also think the Steelers aren't gonna trade him. It just doesn't make sense. They're gonna let this rookie year contract fucking roll out. And however he acts this year is going to be a big yes or no if they're going to actually resign him. Mike Tomlin is known for his great managing of strong personalities. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, he didn't do a bad job with AB for real. Will take him? Sitchy, what are you, a fucking Giants fan? Who the fuck is this guy? Jets? Garrett Wilson? You better worry about fucking re-signing Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is way better than fucking George Pickens. FYI. One crash shot, announcing a future crash shot as well. Yeah, Chase Claypool. One thing about Dez, his play matches the intensity. As a Cowboy fan, he would always take blame. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think Dez was no fucking AB, or he shouldn't even be compared to him. He's definitely passionate, though. I think it was passionate.